So the rain has finally relented at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, and kudos to the drainage system that is there. We have had a toss. India have opted to bat at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium against New Zealand in the first test. And still overcast, but I think the rain might stay away a bit today. So we will see a significant amount of action that is happening.
Yeah.
India opting to bat, but they have gotten two changes. One is a forced change with Shubman Gill not playing because of the neck sprain that he had,
Yeah.
and Sarfraz comes in. Then, when you look at the other change, it is Kuldeep Yadav coming in place of Akashdeep. The Kanpur test that we saw had Akashdeep in it. Now Kuldeep is in. So three spinners on this slow, maybe a rather slow Chinnaswamy Stadium deck. And New Zealand also, they have also made some changes when you look at it. But first, we'll talk about the Indian playing 11s as to what has happened. So it's surprised by the change that's happened.
I think as far as Gill is concerned, I'm a little surprised with India bringing in Sarfaraz Khan. Well, obviously he has done well in domestic circuit, but then I would have wanted to see a certain Akshar Patel in this playing 11, just to make sure that you have that extra bowling option. And the other change also has surprised me with Kuldeep Yadav coming in for Akashdeep. I think it's great news for Kuldeep Yadav. He's finally getting that game time. Couldn't really play against Sri Lanka and even against Bangladesh also. But then on this damp surface, on a surface which has been covered for the last 3 days or so, because it has been raining relentlessly in Bangalore. I feel that India would have done themselves some favor by having a certain Akashdeep in their playing 11 ahead of Kuldeep Yadav. But then I think maybe they are expecting the pitch to turn later on as the match progresses. And remember, New Zealand are going to bat fourth on this track. So I think that also keeping in mind, and also New Zealand's test record in Asian conditions and their form against Sri Lanka, against whom they got blanked 2-0. I think that probably would have prompted India to include an extra spinner.
Yep, indeed. So, see, this is now finally good news for New Zealand, because for the past 6 days when they have been in India, it has been raining continuously. And two things worked very well so that we could have a good start today. I mean, this is the revised timings that we have got.
Yeah.
9:15 is the start of the first session until 11:30. Then 12:10 to 12:25, that is the period when you are going to have the second session. And from 2:45 to 4:45, you will have the last session that is there. So 98 overs will be bowled today. And today, two reasons why the game is starting on time. Because number one, it stopped raining about the night period, and that is why you needed the pitch covers to totally come off. So Hawkeye could be installed, all the calibrations could be done, and that is why it was ready within 1.5 hours. So no delay today.
And you need a minimum of 90 minutes to install the Hawkeye. And just because of the fact that it did not really rain ahead of the second day's play now that's going to take place, that's why the play is going to start on time, or in fact ahead of time, which is 9:15 a.m.
9:15. And second, kudos to the subsurface aeration system that has been installed at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, because which we have already mentioned. Thank you so much. So when you look at it, the subsurface aeration system, any amount of rain that we saw in Bengaluru for the past 3 to 4 days, it would have inundated any North Indian.
True.
You could not have had play for 2 to 3 days minimum. You saw it in Kanpur. You saw it in every other place that was there, even in Greater Noida, for that example. Now it is truly a remarkable feat of the subsurface aeration system, because it was continuously pumping water out.
Yeah.
The outfield was bone dry. Only contention was that whether water seeped onto the pitch. That luckily didn't happen. So kudos to the KSCA for installing the subsurface aeration system, and because of that now we have gotten play today. Let's hope that the rain stays away from most of the remaining days, because see, India can win in 2 to 3 days also, where you saw the Bangladesh.
It's an established fact.
It is an established fact, but then New Zealand, hopefully they put up a stronger fight when that happens. So Do you see New Zealand putting up a fight in this, or do you think they'll just be blown away because of the nature of the wicket?
That's what I think I wanted to discuss with you. Two pointers here. Number one is obviously I think it's in a way advantage New Zealand for the first couple of sessions because of the pace bowling attack that they really have. And Tim Southee, I think let's not forget that even if his recent form hasn't been that great, he's taken just 12 wickets in his last 8 Test matches overall. But then if you look at the last time when he played a Test match in Bangalore, he took a 7-wicket haul. That was way back already.
2012.
Yeah, 2012, 10, 12 years back. But then Tim Southee, I think he has a point to prove. He just dropped himself from New Zealand's Test captaincy. He's resigned as their Test captain, and now he'll be looking to make sure that he cements his place as New Zealand's premier pace bowler when they tour subcontinent. Didn't really do well in Sri Lankan conditions. Also, there's Will O'Rourke who did really well. Took about 8 to 10 wickets in the Sri Lanka series, and Southee just could pick a double. So that's where I think it's an important game for Southee, knowing that if he does not do well in these conditions, which are going to be helpful for the bowlers, I think New Zealand might just want to move on from him in the Test matches against Pune and Mumbai. And then secondly, a point that I want to discuss with you: who bats at number 3 for India?
Oh boy, now that is a huge conundrum there, because see, Shubman Gill's neck stiffness ensured that they could not select him. Had the Test match happened maybe 1-2 days later, perhaps he would have been picked, but no, now it's not happening. Now, as far as the playing 11 is concerned, I mean, you've got the playing 11 hopefully in that. Rohit Sharma, Yashasvi Jaiswal, that is no problem.
And Virat Kohli is being slated to bat at number 3. He's said there.
I think you may see Kohli bat at 3.
How about Rishabh Pant?
That is also a good option if Rishabh Pant can bat it. But then I think Pant will be in that same, but maybe KL Rahul?
Yeah, possible.
Who knows? Even a KL.
But if I am the captain, I'm not going to shuffle KL Rahul.
Well, it's just changed at this point in time. KL Rahul might be your number 3 today. Virat Kohli at 4, Rishabh Pant at 5, Sarfraz at 6. That can be interchanged in that sense.
Yes.
Ravindra Jadeja, Ravichandran Ashwin, Kuldeep Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj. So, but unfortunately, when you have to look at it, things are not looking good in Bengaluru because suddenly it's gotten darker.
Yes.
And we might see rain. So hold your horses for that as well. But to answer your question, I think it could be KL Rahul or Sarfraz who may be batting at number 3, because KL Rahul has had a bit of success when you have to look at it, because looking at the way he's been shuffling up and down the order for quite some time now. So I think KL or Sarfraz might be a number 3. I don't see Kohli bat at 3 though. Although he did bat earlier in his career, but no, I don't see him batting at number 3 there, because
he did in a couple of Test matches against West Indies, if I'm not wrong, in 2016 when India dropped Cheteshwar Pujara. Then I think I'm not going to shift KL Rahul's batting position. I think it's been done a lot in the past 51, 52 Test matches that he has played for India, and for the very first time in his career, for the very first time in about 10 years, I think he has been given a batting position that I feel would be good for him if he's persisted with. So that's where I wouldn't really want to make that change, but in all likelihood, I think he is the one who's going to come and bat at number 3.
If there is any kind of problem, just ask KL. KL will solve your problem in that sense. Anyway, on his home ground, he will be hoping to make a good impression. Yes. I mean, you've got 2 RCB guys in Virat and Siraj who know this situation in a way, who knows ground in a good way. And Akashdeep could have been the 3rd RCB guy, but unfortunately he's not in. Now, as far as the New Zealand 11 is concerned, I just want to have a look
I'll just go through it. It's Tom Latham as your skipper, then Devon Conway as expected opener. Will Young comes in place of Kane Williamson. Well, Kane Williamson is going to miss this test due to an injury he suffered during the Sri Lanka series. There's also, Mark Chapman, who was called in as a cover. He was expected to make his debut, but then he hasn't. Then there's Rachin Ravindra, Daryl Mitchell, Tom Blundell as the designated keeper, Glenn Phillips, Matt Henry, Tim Southee, Ajaz Patel and Will O'Rourke. Well, in case of this, three pacers and 2 spinners, with obviously Rachin Ravindra. He's also an all-rounder. He can chip in with a few overs, and so can Daryl Mitchell, who is a seam bowling all-rounder.
Yeah, so Glenn Phillips and Ajaz Patel, they are your 2 spinning options along with Rachin Ravindra. And also when you look at it, it does look a rather thin lineup. I mean, let me just be very clear. Tom Latham also has not been scoring runs recently. Saudi's been struggling with no Williamson around. Yes, Williamson's got a poor record in India, barring that one century that he hit in Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
But apart from that, Williamson's struggles plus the struggles of all the seniors has ensured that New Zealand have lost 4 tests on the trot. I mean, they lost 2 versus Australia, they lost 2 to Sri Lanka. Now they are potentially staring at a 3-0 whitewash even here also, because New Zealand last won a test match in India in 1988 at the Wankhede Stadium.
Yes.
1988, when I was just 4 years of age. At that time,
wasn't
even born. So imagine that is the amount of baggage that New Zealand are carrying in India.
Yes.
And it's not going to be easy for them. But Rohit Sharma did mention, I mean, I'll be doing a video on what if the Bangalore test ends in a draw, or what if a Pune test ends in, because even the weather in Pune is not slated to be good for 24 to 28. How will that hurt India's WTC chances? And I'm very sorry to inform you that it will hurt their chances. That's why Rohit even mentioned it. See, the WTC cycle is such that we all have to be result oriented.
True.
All pitches and all the way how a team plays, it is result oriented. We can't afford a draw or we can't afford a loss. So yes, teams will get 4 points, but it will hurt your PCT in a big, big way. And that's why it will give a lifeline to the other team. So I will do that video, the explainer on how will it impact. So basically that is the current situation that we have got. So
let's take a few comments, I think, before we wrap things up.
Yep.
Sports fan has a comment: had it been any other stadium's drainage system, would the match have started today? No, I think this is something Siddharth mentioned as the live began here. I think it would have taken at least maybe another day or two for the match to begin. Yeah. Ashish Ranjan has a question: do you think Abhimanyu Ishwaran will be selected for BGT Down Under? Well, my prediction here is that either of Abhimanyu Ishwaran or Ruturaj Gaikwad could be selected as the backup opener.
Well, your predictions initially were accurate, but now they have gone a bit awry when you look at it. But yeah, see, I think looking at the caliber that is there, maybe you would want an Abhimanyu Ishwaran in the BGT. And Rituraj, when you look at it, his first class numbers aren't that bad, but they are not that great either. True. His white ball numbers are staggering though. So maybe you may see an Abhimanyu Ishwaran come in for as a backup opener, but then who are the other backup openers when you have to look at it? Barring a Yashasvi and a Rohit, Gill has not been looked at as an opening option.
Ruturaj Gaikwad, Abhimanyu Ishwaran, Priyank Panchal.
No.
I don't think
way behind in the pecking order. So I think Abhimanyu Ishwaran might be picked for the BGT. So
There's
see.
one more guy, but he has to do well in Ranji Trophy. Prithvi Shaw.
No, that isn't happening. There's too little time, unfortunately.
King Day has a question: India going back to rank turners again? Well, it doesn't really look like that. From the first look, that Chinnaswamy pitch is going to be a rank turner. But then I think India, including 3 spinners, is a sign that it's going to offer a lot of turn as the match goes on.
Well, if India go back to rank turners, then it's nothing surprising then, because that's what they have based their bread and butter on and ever since 2021. Of course, they course corrected in 2024 with the series against England and also in the series versus Bangladesh. But I think if it is a rank turner here, then nothing to be surprised about.
True.
Ashish Ranjan, is there any chance of Khalil, Arshdeep or Natarajan making it down under? No.
Not, but
Arshdeep may be an outside chance.
Either of Khalil or Arshdeep. See, in case of Arshdeep, we must remember one thing, that he has been playing red ball cricket very consistently from the last year or so, ever since he had a chat with Rahul Dravid, who was India's previous coach. Then after having that conversation, he did go on to play county cricket also. Yes. He's been playing consistently the Dulip Trophy. The
Arshdeep was very good in the Dulip Trophy, by the way.
Absolutely. So I think he could be an outside chance, but then you'll also have to see the fitness of someone like a Mohammad Shami, because if he is deemed unfit for the first couple of matches, which in all probability it looks like he's going to miss the first couple of matches, then why not? You would want to have more bowling options.
Mohammad Shami, well, that is a different story altogether. I mean, he really gave people a lot of trouble because of that injury, and he initially dismissed it as fake reports. But then he contributed to a problem and a malaise that has been plaguing relationships between Indian journalists and Indian sporting personality. I mean, see, why do you want to destroy someone else's career? He just reported a news. Mohammad Shami pandered to the gallery and then said that, okay, many people will want to call the journalist out. Why can't you call out Mohammad Shami for ensuring that you lied? You did not want to get it out in the public domain because there was nothing malicious in that report that he did.
So it was just a reporting of an injury, and at the very same time, the reporter who did that, it was more of a report thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
really a sure thing. So any which ways, I think reporters are bound to do that, and there's
It
nothing
is
wrong with
that
it.
is the problem, and Mohammad Shami, I'm very sorry. I mean, it is not a good precedent. That is why sometimes they say, no, you are not my idol. It is these kind of things which ensures that, yeah, respect the profession. If we respect you, you respect the profession back. In that sense,
True.
it's not as if it's very easy for fans to just say that, oh, you are paid this thing, you're that, and all that. This, it's because of people who just on a whim say it is fake news and all that. That's why Mohammad Shami, I don't know whether he'll be fit for the entire VGT also. It doesn't look like it is the case because Perth, Adelaide, maybe he might be fit for Adelaide because it's a 10-day turnaround
Yeah,
period.
true,
So
true.
let's see how that happens.
I think
So
we can take maybe one more comment
one,
here.
two comments more we can say.
Sarat Chandra has a question. How will the Indian batting approach the normally? Will they play normally or will they go ballistic again, just like the Kanpur test? Just want to see Rocco play calmly and pile up runs, but rainy day and Henry bowling. I think India are going to approach this test like the way they did against Bangladesh in Kanpur. They would want to make sure that they get to 300 or 350 odd in no time, because any which ways rain is predicted on all 5 days of the test. So
Yeah,
that's
it
where I think
is.
there's going to be a start stops thing on all the remaining days of the test match. So why not just get to those quick runs, bat in as many less overs as you can, and at the very same time give your bowlers that extra cushion of taking those 20 wickets.
I think, see, India will approach it in the way that they deem it. I mean, see, Jaiswal plays aggressively.
Yeah.
Rohit also, if he chips in well, there's a double whammy for New Zealand. And I think they don't look at the conditions, but then see, 3 days it's been under the covers. There might be some moisture. So, would they want to start aggressively and then risk losing wickets? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they'll go by the gung ho approach. I think they might go for the gung ho approach then. So, let's see. But this New Zealand team with the likes of Will O'Rourke and Tim Southee might be difficult to take off. But then we have seen India's batters do well against a better England bowling lineup also. So
Exactly.
so in that way, it could happen. Freaking awesome! For the second time in the history of a Test cricket, England are playing 17 Tests in a year. 2016 and 20, but India holds the record of playing highest number of Tests in a year, 18 Tests in 1983. Yep. You are absolutely right at this stage. Priyanshu is saying KL is at number 3 is okay because India might do the same at Perth if Rohit misses one test. Do you think Henry and William O'Rourke trouble our top order? Well, Henry has troubled India in the past. Will O'Rourke is going to play for the first time.
He's an unknown commodity for India, so I think he can actually.
He's got
trouble
a certain tall, fast bowler from New Zealand troubled India in the ICC WTC final, Kyle Jamieson.
Yes.
Like for like replacement for him. I mean,
Nowhere to be seen now.
yeah, unfortunate. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like, look at that bowling lineup that was there one time for New Zealand. Bolt, Southee, Wagner, Jameson. I thought the return of that awesome quartet of fast bowlers were back. But then Wagner's retired. Bolt has opted for a casual contract. Only when he'll say that only when I'm free, I will tell you. Jameson's injury is
And Williamson and Devon Conway have also opted for a casual contract. So obviously, New Zealand cricket is not in a good state at all.
It's not in a good state, and I don't think New Zealand cricket will recover. I don't see the next bunch of guys coming in who will really give New Zealand that boost. I think the last of the great eras that you saw was 2023. 2024, you've already seen crashed out of the first round of the T20 World Cup, and doesn't look good for New Zealand cricket at all. And now 4 Test matches lost. That's the thing. So
in any which ways, for New Zealand, if they lose one more test of their remaining 6, it's going to be the end of the road for them as far as a spot in the WTC final is concerned.
Not happening for them, especially if India were playing in New Zealand, then New Zealand had a faint chance. But New Zealand playing in India, very, very slim chance for them. So that is the way we are looking at it.
The teams and officials are walking out for the national anthems, and it looks quite dark, but the good thing is that it isn't raining for now.
We hope that the rain stays away, and I hope the light also stays okay. But let's see how that happens. So we are going to see action finally in the first test between India and New Zealand. For people who are joining us now, India have opted to bat. No Shubman Gill because of a neck injury that he has suffered. And in comes Sarfaraz, and KL Rahul might be batting at number 3. Akashdeep not in. Kuldeep is in. So 3 spinners, 2 pacers. New Zealand also, Ajaz Patel, Glenn Phillips and Rachin Ravindra might be your 3 spinners. You've also got the other guys in Willow Root, Tim Saudi,
Matt
and
Henry.
Matt Henry who are there. So bye bye. See you soon from me and Sid Gulati. It's bye bye. We'll be back with more videos on Sports Today. Do join us for the post match analysis though, because that is when we'll be giving an in depth of what is happening in this part in this test match. So
Yeah.
bye bye. See you soon, Nandri.